Hey guys, welcome back. We're getting straight in it today by finishing a project. And you might be wondering which project? This project, my hardcore museum. Over the past couple months, I've been working on it on my live streams, and I've kind of taken a break from that to start a new project. So in today's episode, I'm finally just going to hunker down and finish the entire build itself. It's looking pretty much done now. We'll go into free cam to get a good look overall. But the only thing that's missing, as you can see, I've kind of started on it over here, is the outer kind of sanctuary exhibits. So in today's episode, we're going to finish off all of those and get all the interior done as well, because as you can see here, let's fly on in quickly. On each of these wings, the floors are kind of incomplete because they're not ready to be filled. I don't know which wing is each because I don't have the labels yet, so that's another thing I need to get, is I have all these labels with the different banners, so we'll look into getting that done today. But I want to get all of the kind of build done today, and then maybe we can do a little bit of gathering, or I guess collecting, of all the resources I already have, and starting to put them in this museum. So let's get to it. Alright, so as you can see from my Lightmatica here, there's lots to build. Mostly, this glass is going to be the main problem. We got one. This one doesn't have glass, thankfully. It's my nether one, so that one will be a lot easier than the other three. But then over here, this one's a lot of glass. And then over here, as you can see, I already started on one side. But if we take this off, you can see the other one also needs a lot of glass. And then over here on this one, that's actually tinted glass, which is going to be a whole nother trouble, because I'm going to have to get the amethyst shards, and I haven't even collected any of those yet. So let us get to a little material gathering montage where I'm going to get a lot of sand. So let's get to it. Alright, so that is all the sand collected. Smelting it all into glass now. We got a decent amount. I've still got 2 shulker boxes of sand, just in case. I'm kind of slowly piling it into here. We got a couple more, maybe, I think it's going to be at least 2 shulker boxes full of glass. We'll see if we need any more. But the problem is, I didn't just make it regular glass. I made it stained glass. It means I'm going to need to get some dyes. So the nice thing is, the majority of it is blue. So I got a decent chunk of lapis I can turn it into, or I can get some more flowers, but I don't know if there's any like too tall flowers that allow you to bone meal and get infinite of, so I think we might stick with the lapis since I'm not really using it for anything else. Then I used a bit of cyan. Now, I know cyan is blue and maybe something else. I'll have to look in, figure out which one that is, but before that we also have green. So if we head on up to our agricultural floor all the way up here, I've started a small little cactus farm here. Let's see, have we gotten any so far? All right, we got 7. So it's just very simple, grows, it doesn't like being beside something, breaks off, goes into the water stream, down into the center. So we're going to be gathering a little bit of green that way. So it's green, blue, and cyan. So let's gather all the colors up right now, the dyes right now, whilst we're waiting for all that glass to finish smelting up. Alright, so we've been smelting all the glass and smelting some cactus up, and I've started collecting most of the glass I need. So I've got a full shulker of the blue, a little bit more, as well as some green. And then over into here, I've started working on the cyan, which is actually just blue and green put together. So slowly going through that. I also have to improve my little cactus farm up here. I just added a second layer to it, and it's slowly producing cactus. Nice little bit there, just over time whilst I'm in the area, which is kind of helpful. So the next thing, whilst we're waiting for all this cactus to smelt and more to grow, I'll have to AFK in the area a little bit, but the nice thing I have to do now, well, I guess not nice thing, the fun thing, I've got to go find a bunch of amethyst shards to get the tinted glass, because I wrote it down here somewhere. There it is. I need 20 stacks of tinted glass, which means a buttload of amethyst shards. So I'm going to need to get a bunch of the geodes and maybe set them up for farming purposes, because I know they regrow only on specific blocks. Sadly, you can't still touch them, otherwise I'd be able to make a nice farm in the tower. But let us go. I know I saw one in the last episode deep into the ocean, so maybe I can sneak and grab all the what's in there, and then we go underground and find a good one which I can turn into a farm. So let's go hunting for that now. All right, I have been flying around, having to turn on my shaders off and on constantly just so I can actually see to the bottom here, but I have found an exposed one here. So let's mine in probably the side, maybe make it a little easier to get the air, and we're also going to get some calcite. We're going to have to be careful going in here so we don't break any of the important ones. A little dark in here, but we're getting some of these shards, so these are the ones that I can't afford to break. I can get some amethyst blocks, but I need... Is it the buds that give me? I actually have no idea. So is it something craftable? Doesn't look like it. So let's grab a couple more of these. It's probably because I'm using Silk Touch. Don't want to be doing that. So maybe if I place this back down. No. See if I do it again. Okay, so maybe it has to be the full one, like over here. Let's write that. All right, and we get 8 amethyst shards. You can turn that into block, but you can't turn it back, which is kind of annoying. But we've got a one here, but there's not a lot in it. Like, all of these aren't growing. So maybe I have to AFK in here and just wait forever because, I mean, not much I can do. I'll probably just go around and remove all of these non-budding ones, the ones that have the detail on them. I have to raise the... Actually, no, here, let's turn it off. And I'll use a full bright so you can actually see properly. So you can see these ones are the ones that they grow off of. So I can destroy all the ones that aren't those. And maybe I'll grab a bit of calcite too. That can always be a nice building block I use later on. So let's do that. Gather as much as possible. I'm going to have to calculate how many I'm actually going to need to turn all of it to tinted. I actually don't know the recipe. So we're going to do that. And then I'll meet you guys back at the base for some more crafting. Alright, so I did a little bit of AFKing, and I got almost a stack of shards, and I started just grabbing with the Silk Touch the clusters, just so I didn't have to worry about if I was breaking the large and not the actual fully grown cluster, because it goes small, medium, large, then cluster, and cluster is the only one you actually get the shards from. So, Silk Touching it makes sure, even if you do break a large cluster, you can place it back and you'll eventually get a fully formed cluster. But now, actually crafting it, you need 4 just to get 2, which means it's 2 shards per piece of glass, and I need 20 stacks, which means I would need 40 stacks of shards, which is just not happening anytime soon. I AFK'd for like 3 Minecraft days, so about an hour or 2, I don't even remember how long, and I found a better one than the one I showed you guys. It had about 2 to 3 times more of the budding ones, and I cleared out all around it. It growing pretty good. That's how much I got from that. Now, if you're not familiar with Minecraft, this is actually quite a bit. So I think I'm just going to change it so only the roof of the outer exhibit is going to be the tinted, and then the sides I'll probably just use black because I do have a semi squid farm going now with my guardian farm up and running. So I think I'll change the sides to black and the top to tinted. Now you might be wondering, why do I even need tinted glass? So if you haven't actually seen my video where I designed and built in Creative the whole museum on its own, you might want to go check that out because that gives a kind of look into the entire building process as well as all the kind of techniques and things I kind of set up for it. But the reason why it needs it, let's turn back on this, flick it around, we're going to lag real quick. So it's this one over here. Yeah, so on this one, this is what I'm calling the aviary, so the flying ones. So on that side, it's the peaceful, so things like you can see, I got a beehive there, so bees, bats, and parrots will go into there. It would be a better tree than that one, that was kind of a placeholder. And then this one is the phantom. So the phantoms, they burn in sunlight, so I'm planning to use just the top, I guess, now as the tinted, and then these walls, I don't think they need to be tinted since the sun is only coming from top down. I might have to go and do a quick little test to make sure that I'm not wasting my time, and then I can just replace the outside with the black, which is still quite hard, but it'll be easier than getting these shards. Alright, we've been doing a lot of material gathering. I'm grabbing up a little bit more glass because I actually went through it all, surprisingly. And I've gotten all my cyan, blue, and green, and then started working on the black. I've left the shards to get the tinted for last because it is the ceiling, the roof of the whole thing. So This will go on in the background, gather a little bit more glass, and I'll do this one last just because that'll be the easiest. But now that we've gathered all the resources very painfully, I think it's time we actually get to building and get this whole thing finished. So let's say we get to it now. And there we go. That was a lot more than I thought it was going to be. That took so much longer. Not just the building, because the building took probably around 2 hours on its own just for those four corners. But the material gathering took so much longer. I didn't realize how short on materials I was, especially that glass. I need to get some more sand. I need more of the sandstone. I need to open up my deep slate mine again to get a bunch more for those roofs. Oh god, that took a long time. But as you can see, I also changed up the color of my beacons to kind of match where they are. Red for the nether, blue for the water, so the aquarium. Green was kind of for the flying. I might switch that around with the purple one because that's just what was left for the excess. If you want to know what's going in each of these, you can either go check out the video where I designed this. I built a ginormous, huge hardcore museum. I'll leave a card on the top right, hopefully, if I remember. If not, you can just stay tuned and you'll see as I slowly fill them up with what they're meant to have. So the next thing we have to do to finish everything off, you also saw I did a little bit of lighting. So I got my little lampposts I designed, the cute little things here. So if I turn on my light overlay, you can see all of this is spawn proof now. I did have to add in a little bit of hidden lighting here. And then since I expanded this after I finished designing it, I also had to add one over here. I'll probably figure out how to light these areas up. But another thing I'm gonna have to do pretty soon is terraforming. I'll just go into FreeCam so we can get a steady shot of it all. You can see all around the edges, it just doesn't feel like this fits. It feels like it was kind of just like plopped in with no real care. Especially areas like this that are like overhanging. Over here, it's just kind of, I have the original shape. It was like a hexagon originally. And then these areas, they just need to be adjusted. So pretty soon, I'm going to be doing a terraforming episode where I'll be putting my terraforming skills to the test to see if I can kind of blend the whole sand into the grass. How well that's going to go, we'll see how well it goes. But the next thing, and I guess the final thing for today's episode, is on the interior. I've done a little bit of lighting where I added some more of these lanterns everywhere, but my ceiling is missing our lights. So if we turn back on Lightmatica, oh, that's not the right one, pressing the wrong buttons, there we go. If we plop that, there we go. You can see I'm missing these lights here with copper. So I've collected a bit of copper in the lighting. I'm using the Ochre Frog lights. So I'll add those in. And then I also have to work on these terracotta flooring. So this is a lot of terracotta. Thankfully, I have a mesa biome right by my desert biome where I got all this sand from. So I went and quickly grabbed a bunch of terracotta. The problem is, I used so much color. I mean, I used pretty much every single glazed terracotta block there is. So now I've got to find the dye for each of them. I've got to smelt them up, and then I've got to craft them all. And then I've got to, thankfully with Lightmatica, it'll place it in the right place. Like I've done kind of like in a pattern here. So that'll be easier, but I need to get through and get all the colors. I'm done out here, thankfully. So this has saved me a little bit of time on these bits. And I've slowly picked away at some of them. You can kind of see I did the light gray here. I've got a list of what I need to do. If I go into Lightmatica, we go to Configure, Material List. You can ignore most of these because they're wrong, just because I placed them slightly different from how I planned. You can see all these glazed terracottas. So lots of them. We can ignore the terracottas because these are used for the museum placements. So I place one of each into a certain area. But these are all I've got to do. I guess I don't need to do black because that's probably going to be in the museum portion. So from yellow up, all of these need to be placed. So I guess, except for this one, because it's only missing one, I guess. But the rest of these can get all done, and I can place these in. Just got to get all the coloring for them. So I got to figure out how to get the coloring. Brown might be a problem because I think the only way is cocoa beans, and I don't have a farm for that. So that might be an issue where I have to go find a jungle. The rest of these I can probably figure out, so let's go and find the materials. Alright, so luckily I had a lot of the dyes in my system ready. I just had to get a little bit of red from my iron farm, and just a little bit of green from my cactus that I've been collecting from the glass. It was quite useful, I already collected a lot of that. And with that, I have gotten all the materials I need. So now all I need to do is throw it here. It's going to go into here, and I'm probably going to have to, yeah, we need a lot of fuel. So I got buckets on me. Let's go fill this all up. I guess it kind of feels like a waste to use that. Let us throw just a bit of wood in there. If we throw it into here, it'll evenly distribute it. Spread this out, and then it can go through all those, cook it all up, and then I'll have all my glaze right here. And then let's go place it in position. All right, materials gathered. Got enough of these. I counted it out, smelted it all up in my super smelter, and I've got enough to make extra of the wax. This is all the wax I have, but I've got plenty of extra, plus the honeycombs that are overflowing. I need to increase the storage system of my honey farm. It's actually way too efficient for what I think I needed. But let's get to it now. All right, and that is it all done. My guy got stuck in here because I had to remove the walls. Originally, he could just fly through anywhere, but with the new lamppost on the outside, that kind of sticks him inside. These are too small for him, so he's staying in here for a little bit, but we got all of the details done. The lighting is all good, so I can go around and fix all these torches. It's hard to tell what's still okay. You might have noticed if you have a sharp eye, some of these were wrong. These were actually backwards on this one. So I had to come back and do it on my own. Not sure what past me was thinking when I designed it. I guess I just wasn't paying enough attention to those. But that is all of the terracotta. Got a little, nope, no extra. I already put it all back and it's ready to go for when I need to place it in the museum itself. So there's plenty more to do. Actually, earlier I said I want to switch these, so let's just do that real quick whilst we're here before I forget. So green, no, don't want that. Green and purple. So I can probably change those out later for full blocks or whatever I need them to be, and wherever that needs to be, but there are still more to go in this build. It's not complete. Obviously, it's a museum, and, well, if you look at these halls, they're looking kind of bare. So they need to be filled. So that is an episode for a future time, because that is lots and lots to gather. So I might do that on a live stream when I have a little bit of extra time, or it might just be an episode where I just start collecting stuff. That sounds like a fun idea. If you have an idea of what kind of things you want me to collect for an episode, like if you want me to go all in on a mob episode, because I've started collecting some of them. You can see some of the hostile mobs in here, but there's still lots of cells to fill. Plus all of the brand new builds. Let's go on outside. So I've got all these outside exhibits that need to be filled. I got the water one for all the flying mobs. This is kind of leftover for the larger mobs, like the sniffer, and then the nether one. So for the nether one, they're actually going to be here. They'll be in the nether. I haven't actually opened this portal up yet because I'm going to take it and put it onto the nether roof so I can build a custom kind of landscape for them all to kind of chill in. It'll have a bunch of cells similar to the one I made in the original video but it'll be a lot better because that one felt a little bit rushed for when I wanted that video to come out. I didn't spend as much time. It was kind of just a sphere. I'll probably make it look a lot more natural, have it like a cavern instead of just the sphere. But that is, I think, where we're going to leave today's episode. We got so much more done than I had planned originally. I originally just wanted to do like a little bit of work, but since there's not going to be a second episode of Hardcore this week, so Friday's episode is going to be something slightly different. If you tuned in for my live stream on Monday, you might know what it's going to be, but if you don't, you'll just have to wait and see what it is. But that's going to be it for today's episode, so if you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe for more episodes coming soon. Until next time.